for default home pages, they follow a certain order. So that's why I have them in number order. It's always going to be chronologically down the page for a default homepage template. It's going to be your hero. So either a image, a rotator, a full width image, a full width video, horizontal call to action section with those linked icons there, highlighted content region, and then your widget region. Sometimes this can get confusing. So that widget region is on the very bottom row of a home page. You can think of a home page as almost having 3 columns. Typically, we have 3 one-column widgets along that bottom row. You could also have 1 2-column widget with an additional single column, or we offer 1 3-column widget, which is just text, and that will go along the entire bottom of your homepage. So it really just depends on the content that you all have in your departments. If you don't have a ton of content, maybe you would utilize that 3-column text just to kind of fill up that space. But all of these elements are required on the default homepage. So I was going to show you a few different examples of each. And they're all, what I chose to show you today was essentially 3 different examples that look kind of very, very different from each other. So let me, and I, of course, 3 will not totally work on my screen, so we will show you kind of one at a time. So medical engineering, and again, these are all 3 default homepages. So these were all utilizing the same elements, just maybe in different ways. Maybe certain elements were shown or hidden. This is medical engineering. They used a hero video as their hero section. Honors College, they used an image and then they actually had text as an overlay, which is another option. And then here we have Sarasota Manatee's Housing and Residential Education. They're using a full width rotator right here. So even in these 3 examples, they're all using 3 different types for their hero section. Then as you scroll down, we're going to be looking at that call to action region. This can be shown or hidden. I'm going to move this over here. So, of course, my computer is setting to go extremely slowly. So all 3 of these pages are utilizing it right here. This is actually linked through a call to action widget. So that has to be edited kind of on the back end and then linked. But as you can see, they're all using this element here. And you are able to show between 3 and 4 icons. Again, those are pretty fixed. 3 minimum, 4 maximum. So again, if your department doesn't have, let's say, 3 or 4 links to highlight or that you want to be shown on the homepage, you might not utilize this section. So that can be shown or hidden on the page. And then as you scroll down, this is our highlighted content section. And again, all 3 pages utilize this element. This is going to be an image, and then it's going to be a linked, essentially a header with this same link here as an arrow and then a bit of a blurb right here. So as you can see, they're utilizing them all here, and they look quite a bit different depending on your imagery, depending on how much text you have. As you can see on Sarasota Manatees, but it's much smaller. And as you can see, our template adjusts to how much content's in there. So for medical engineering, for example, they have a lot more text content, so it's kind of a wider on your screen. Sarasota Manatee is a lot more narrow. So keep that in mind. And then here we're getting to our widget region at the bottom. So like I was saying, there's 3 different columns. As you can see for medical engineering, they're utilizing our calendar, and then also they are linking and using an RSS feed to link to their medical engineering news. This is one of our newer widgets. It's actually pulling in the feed from our news module, which is great. So this is actually all automatically updated. And as you can see, this is a 2-column widget. So technically they only have 2 widgets here in that row. They have 1 2-column, 1 1-column. And then here for the Honors College, these are links, a featured story widget, and then our calendar right here. So again, 3 widgets here on the bottom. And then for Sarasota Manatee's housing, they have links here. And then these are 2 featured stories, and they're utilizing them in very different ways. So just wanted to show you 3 different very great examples of a default homepage. And I'm looking at my time to make sure we have time for all of these. So here's our PowerPoint again, and let me pull up. There's so many tabs open, so sorry. There's a lot to look at here this morning. So I did want to point out, I probably won't have time to go all the way in depth because I do want to kind of show you the differences for these. But what I wanted to show you, and again, just to kind of review here on our CMS user guide, we have all of the ones that I'm showing you today are all listed here in Web-spiration based on their different sections. So for default homepage, it's right here. All the ones I'm showing you are already highlighted. And so this was just one that I wanted to show you. So for medical engineering, for example, and I kind of already went through it with you, but what I did on these pages was I actually went through the back end of, and you can kind of see it on the front end, but it's easier to see once you're in the CMS itself. You can see every single element that was utilized. So they have their feature video, which is full width. I did these in alphabetical order, although I'm going to go back and kind of do them in chronological in terms of top to bottom, so you can kind of see each element as it appears on the page. They have the calendar here at the bottom, right here. Horizontal call to action, as we said, was shown. Highlighted content was shown, and then their CMS news feed is 2 columns with that image right there. So as you can see on each page, some of them are utilizing a lot more elements than others. Some are hidden and some are not. Some are utilizing different types of widgets. So this is what I wanted to kind of highlight here was that default homepage. Any question on default homepage? If you have them, if you could just please put them in the chat and we can get to those. Okay, so we're going to move on to enhanced homepages. And then after this, I'm actually going to show you the difference just quickly between default and an enhanced homepage. Same thing with text pages and gallery pages. So for enhanced homepages, as you can see, and I could show you again the difference in a moment, these were numbered because they are chronologically down the page in this order. For enhanced, I only put a numbered list for the hero because chronologically down the page, hero is the only fixed section. And then your highlighted content sections, your widget regions, and your full width image sections can all be changed in whatever order in which makes the most sense for your content. These can all also be shown or hidden. So let me pull up our enhanced home pages, which I have them all open. Okay, here we go here. So again, these are going to be 3 different examples of enhanced home pages. So we have, and I'll just go one at a time. So we have commencement here. Please ignore this chatbot for now. This is not what most pages will have, but just for specialty pages, they work with IT and kind of have that installed. So don't let that distract you. What I want to show you is their hero section with it, which is this full width video. And then right here is a widget region. They're using the 3-column text. We have a full width image here. Another widget region. And again, this is 3-column text as well. They're kind of duplicating sections, but using them in different ways. Our full width image. And then here is another widget region, and it's utilizing 3 featured story widgets, 1, 2, 3. And then here at the bottom is one more widget region, and they're utilizing a button here. So our next example is Patel College. They also have a full width video hero section. And then here is a widget region, and this is a call to action widget. Sorry, there's so many terms this morning. And then again, here's one more widget region where they're utilizing the featured story widget, and they're just eliminating that extra content at the bottom. Here's a highlighted content section in green that they're utilizing, an additional widget region, and see they're utilizing the featured story, but they're including that content on the bottom. one more highlighted content section in green. And again, you can see that they swap the orientation for those images, which you have the ability to do. And then this last widget region, three widgets, 1, 2, 3, links, and then buttons. So within a widget region, I know that's a mouthful, doesn't really roll off the tongue. Within a widget region, think of that as on the default homepage, you had just that one region at the bottom, which could hold up to 3 one-column widgets. These are widget regions, which can include 3 one-column, 1 2-column plus a 1-column, or 1 3-column widget. So a lot of different widgets that can be utilized here. Enhanced homepages, we recommend only utilizing if you have perhaps a lot of content you'd like to highlight or a lot of visual content. And the last one I'll show you here is Office of National Scholars. They are utilizing the full width image, and then they have kind of a linked header content on top. They're utilizing the call to action widget here. And this is one widget region, which is encompassing this entire call to action region here. They also have the highlighted content section in green. Here's another widget region with some featured story widgets highlighted. Highlighted content section with the orientation of the image flipped, as you can see. A full width image here. Another widget region, and they're utilizing this in a totally different way. This is just a 1-column text to highlight their accolades for awards for the Office of National Scholars, and that's how they utilized it here, almost as like a brag board. And then here, they're also utilizing that 2-column news feed, as we saw in the default homepage, again, pulling in automatically those stories from their news site. And then we have a few additional highlighted content sections here. These is actually a bit of a custom. We added additional highlighted content sections for them here. If you need additional widget regions, highlighted content sections, or full with images, we can do those for you. Just submit a ticket to our team. And so that is the enhanced homepage there. And I'm going to show Web-spiration, that link here for you all to see. And again, I'm going to have to pull up one additional page. Bear with me, everybody. So again, going to our user guide, scrolling to our enhanced homepage for Web-spiration. And again, all the ones I showed today are also here. And you can see the Office of National Scholars, for example. I already went down the page, but again, as you see this page open, these are all the elements that they have utilized here. So again, very, very different. Some utilized, again, more widgets than others. Some have chose to show or hide some certain elements. So, and again, Office of National Scholars has a few additional highlighted content sections, for example. So again, this is kind of what they used on their page. And to do a really quick review of default versus enhanced homepages, we could see right here. And again, depending on if they're numbered or not, that's dependent on if they are fixed and if they are necessary and required on the page. So everything for the default homepage, the hero and the widget region, that is mandatory to have on the page. Horizontal call to action and highlighted content can be shown or hidden. And then for enhanced, as you can recall, the hero is the only fixed element there on the very top of the page. All those other regions can be kind of shuffled around depending on your content. Okay, so that was enhanced. And then we're going to get to text and gallery. So for text pages, again, these elements aren't kind of fixed chronologically, but for the text pages, there is no hero image at the top or a hero section in general. They do have that side content, and that's going to be either side navigation or side content itself, which is kind of a newer element that we've kind of introduced. And then you can use text page snippets on a text page. So let me open those up. I believe it's this one. Here we go. Yep. So I'm going to show you again 3 different examples of great text pages, and they're all going to look very different. They're all utilizing very different elements. So this one is new that we're showing you. It's from admissions. And I'm just going to, because we have about 10 minutes left, just kind of scroll down each page so you can see them. I won't highlight each element, but I'll highlight a few. So for admissions, they're utilizing a lot of elements here. And I'll actually pull up the Web-spiration here for text pages just so you can see them. So for Web-spiration for text pages, I'll have it pulled up here, and you can see just how different these are. This will work with me here. All right, so as you can see, this is admissions wide transfer. There's a lot of elements here, whereas some other pages like this one for residential services only have 2 different elements they're utilizing. So wide transfer to USF, as I scroll down the page, you can kind of reference here. That's all the elements they're utilizing. Just want to kind of show you visually how different they can look. So here's this one. They're utilizing a lot of our different components. They're utilizing anchor links, a lot of these buttons. And these are our stylized header component that they're utilizing all the way down the page. There's a lot of content on this page, and they're breaking it up with a lot of different elements here. This is a bit of a longer scroll, but they're really doing a good job deciphering the information and kind of breaking it up based on those components here, the stylized headers. And then we have another new one to show you. This should be right here, these micro credentials. So this is from Innovative Ed. So as I mentioned, you can have either side content or, as most units have, is that side navigation. But here they're utilizing that side content, which you can add different snippets here. They're actually utilizing our call out text to change up the color, and they have a button here as well. So here's all the elements they're using here, and this is what this page looks like. So very different from the last page. They're utilizing a toggle here so that there's not such an infinite scroll. So they're kind of condensing that information into an accordion. So that's micro credentials. And then this one, much simpler, from Muma College of Business. So here's what they're utilizing here, these elements. Much shorter content, but again, they're utilizing these toggles to kind of condense this information so it's not as long of a scroll. So those are those elements. Any questions on text pages that we can answer in the chat for you? Okay, so the last one we're going to go over is gallery pages. Gallery pages are different because they do have that, oops, sorry, scrolled down too far. They have that fixed hero image at the top. They do not have any side content, so the content will actually fill the span of the entire workspace, that full width. And then they have their own special gallery page snippets. However, text page snippets can also be utilized on a gallery page. So let me open these here. Oh man, where are they? Here we go. Alrighty. So these are 3 different examples of gallery pages. And again, I'll open that Web-spiration just so you have it. So if you scroll down to gallery pages and click Web-spiration, that's where you'll find it. Again, all the ones I'm highlighting here are also shown on this page. So here we go. This one I actually just updated, and I went from most current to least current, which makes more sense scrolling down on this history page. It's very, very lengthy. So this one is there are not a lot of elements on this page. What we're utilizing the most is this timeline snippet and the timeline element component. They have to be used together. We have documentation on that for how to use them, but just wanted to show you, again, here's that every gallery page has that large image. And this is, again, just utilizing our timeline snippet and component as you scroll down the page. And then after every decade, I included a anchor links to back to top so that you don't have to scroll forever and ever and ever and not get back to the top. So it's right here. Once you click on it, it goes to the very top of your page. So that's one example. This is a new example we're showing you from Sarasota Manatee, the Campus Insider newsletter. So they have a very different gallery page. They utilize a lot of different elements here, as you can see. So I'll just kind of scroll down the page there so you can see it. So different components, they utilize the text and image in a really great way where they would kind of swap the orientation down the page, as you can see here. They used a band with background color to almost mimic a highlighted content section here on the gallery page. Again, they're swapping those orientations. And this does look like an online newsletter here. So really innovative way to use our different elements. Here's a call out text component here, arrow links right here with our little animation. So yeah, really looks vastly different than our USF history page, but again, same gallery template, they just utilize different snippets essentially. And then our last one, very simple, but pretty clean, and they utilize just 3 different elements here on the page for the Mooma College of Business Schools. So they use buttons here, and then they had text and image snippet. So again, your text is on one side, your image is on the other. They swap the orientation, and then they put some of them in a band with background color to kind of break up the eye, breaking up the color and the content down the page. So as a quick review, the differences between text and gallery pages are here. So again, text, there is no hero image, but there will be side content, whether that be for most folks, that side navigation or that side content as we saw displayed, and then specific text page snippets. And then for gallery, we do have that hero image that's fixed on the top, and then no side content because the content will fill that entire working space. And then we have unique gallery page snippets for gallery pages. However, text page snippets can be utilized on that page.